What up, everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of Gratitude City with yours truly, Christopher Cacciotti. I'm actually coming to you from the Chelsea, a hotel room. We're down here in Toronto. Evie had some appointments today at Sick Kids. He had a cardiology follow-up. So it's just cool that we can, with technology today, is that and that we can just connect from anywhere, really. It's super cool, and I think it's going to open a lot of doors. The purpose of this show is to connect with people who have awesome stories to tell and share that can motivate and inspire people that are engaged in their community, and people that are philanthropic and just have a desire to give back to the community and to the world and just make the world a better place. And I don't think that is epitomized more so than the gentleman here with me today, very first guest on the show, the owner and operator of the Positive Inception, Ryan Benoit. Ryan, welcome to episode 1. It's an absolute honor to have you on as our very first guest, and thank you very much for being here with us today.
No, it's a privilege to be on here, and thank you so much for asking me. I was really looking forward to it. I'm super excited to chat with you a little bit and share some pretty cool stories.
Awesome, man. Yeah, there are a lot of similarities between the two of us with what we've been through in life, with life experiences, and kind of our mission that we have on this earth. So without further ado, we'll just jump right into it. Tell me a little bit about what you were like as a kid. Like, what kind of kid were you? What were you into? You know, your hobbies and interests. Like, tell me about 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old Ryan.
Yeah, to be honest, like thinking back on that, I was huge into sports. I loved hockey, and I still do, but that, like, sports kind of revolved around. That was what my life revolved around, was school and sports. And I used to always love all the stats and different things like that. Watch as much hockey as possible, as much depending on the season, baseball too. And I think sports was a huge thing. Hanging out with family and friends, that was also something that was super, super important. But yeah, I was mostly into sports, and that kind of took a big part of my life.
Nice. Yeah, that's that I feel like that's that for a lot of kids, sports is something that we love growing up, because we have dreams of being in the NHL or the NBA, and we see these people who do what we love to do, and they get to do that for a living. And it's cool to connect with, to follow athletes and identify and have heroes and people that you look up to. Back to your childhood. So tell me about your parents. You know, when I was younger, I had a bone disease in my legs, called leg Perthes disease, and I was forced to walk with leg braces. I was in traction and casts and all these things. And also with my experiences with Evie, I see that it's very important, and I'm sure you experience this as well, that it's the parental instinct is to coddle, right? When your kid's going through hard times, the parental instinct is to coddle. But as we both know, it's important not to do that in order to kind of foster that level of independence in your kids. So how did your parents approach that balancing act? How did they make sure that you had what you needed emotionally and physically, while at the same time, you know, forcing you to be independent, to develop some self-sustainability, and not kind of let yourself take this attitude that, that life's too hard or the world is against me?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, I think having a good support system, having good parents, like that makes the world a difference. And I know I wouldn't be where I am today without them. And I have two older brothers too, so that kind of helped. But like my parents, it was always us, me and my two brothers. Like our lives kind of revolved around them, and they did everything that they could to make sure that we were successful. And when my brother was when my first brother was born, he had a diaphragmatic hernia, so they were always at sick kids all the time. And then I came around, and I have cerebral palsy. So there was definitely a lot of challenges and obstacles with that. But I think they all in all, they treated me like I was a regular kid, and I am a regular kid. But they never felt sorry for me, but they always gave me that support and whatever I needed help doing. They were always there to help me, and I think that's super, super important. And whether it's with school or my dad, he's a pretty big, he's tough around the edges, and he would never take any shit from anyone. And I think that's kind of what you needed to, right? And
right.
People, when I started school, they wouldn't let me go to a regular school, and my dad forced his way in and ruffled some feathers, and a lot of people didn't like him. And I think that's kind of what had to be done for me to be able to go to a regular school. And he had to yell at a lot of people sometimes to get things done and to make sure everything was accessible, to make sure that I had the proper equipment to do what I needed to do. And I think like my parents, they work so hard, and they always like if I needed equipment or different things like that, we always had they made sure we always had the money for that, whether it's my dad working extra overtime at the mine or whatever it may be. No, I just get kind of emotional, but
Yeah.
But even to this day, they're always so supportive, and they always got my back no matter what.
That's amazing. And that's that balancing act. My parents, I lived it when I was younger as a kid with a leg disease, and I owe a lot, almost everything, to my parents who didn't coddle me, who forced me to get up the stairs while I was in casts and braces, and who didn't baby me and who didn't carry me. And my dad too is similar to your dad in that he's a hard-nosed individual. A little bit softer now that he's a no-no. But when we were younger, man, he was a hard dude, and I've never really seen him show a ton of emotion. But he told me a story when I was a little bit older that I asked him, when I was younger, I asked him when I was going to be able to walk like a regular boy. And he, as tough as a cookie as he is, he had to, put on a strong face for me and tell me that it was just a matter of time, and then went up to his room and had a little bit of a cry. That's the only time that I know of in my dad's life that he's shed tears. So, and that attitude that my parents brought when raising me through my leg disease, we now deploy that against Everett, because the last thing we want is for Everett to get into a mindset where life's too hard or the world's against me, or we want him to have his head on his shoulders. And it's tough when all you want to do is just give them a hug and give them everything that they need to just make life as easy as possible and take away all the barriers. Us like kids need to hit those barriers in order to learn and grow. So it's awesome to hear that obviously your parents did an amazing job with how you turned out. You're an absolutely upstanding individual, a gentleman, and a person who just is firmly dedicated to making the world a better place. So kudos to your parents, mom and dad. if you're watching, kudos to you. I love you guys. And to all the other parents out there in the world who are doing everything that they can to make sure their kids become the best versions of themselves that they can be. It's a tough fight, but you got this, and your kids are going to appreciate you.
Yeah, I think it's also important to know too, like there was a lot of different struggles, right? And yeah, my parents could address me every day and this and that, and it would take me like hours to kind of figure out how to do something, and maybe I wouldn't do it the traditional way as someone else did, but I figured out a way to do it. The way I put socks on is probably different the way than you put socks on, you know, but there's always a way to do something. There's always ways to adapt, and they kind of like they sometimes I would get frustrated, but they just kept telling me to kind of keep going, and I think and then I just figured it out on my own, right? And if they wouldn't, if when it came to like physical therapy and stuff, sometimes I wouldn't want to do it, but they would force me to do it. And today, like, I'm so grateful that they did force me, because if they wouldn't, who knows where I would be, you know, who knows how independent I would be. And now I'm able to do everything by myself, you know?
It's amazing. Honestly, it's amazing. And it's inspiring to see how independent you are and how literally zero F's you really give about the limitations that the world would perceive that you deal with. It's honestly an inspiration, dude.
One of my favorite quotes is like, don't be the victim, be the victor, you know? And I think like it's like the way I kind of think about it is like, who cares if you're use a wheelchair to get around? Like, yeah, it's going to be maybe 10, 20 times harder than most people to do things, but they're like, I'll be able to do it in my own way, you know? And if it takes me a little bit of time, so be it, but I'll eventually get it done. And and I like that I have to maybe work a little harder than most people, and it's just the way it is, and you just gotta accept it for what it is, and try to do the best you can every single day, and just be grateful that I'm able to be alive and be able to do what I do, you know.
Well, exactly, and it really boils down to an accountability piece, right? Like the accountability that we have to ourselves and our happiness. You were alluding to it, and you say, like, we talk about this attitude about being positive, but anyone who's going through challenging times, you talked about having a positive outlook. What's the alternative, right? What is the alternative? There are limitations that we have to deal with, and we can either, and those aren't going to change. I mean, my son, Everett, isn't going to stop having a heart disease. Your cerebral palsy is not going away. So we're going to be going through these things regardless of how we think about it. One way of thinking about it crushes us, and one way of thinking about it allows us to take these challenges as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to develop. And it seems to me to be like a no-brainer, right? Like, what's the point? One of the talks that you gave, I invited you to speak when I was the president of the Sunrisers. I invited you to speak as our guest speaker. And something that you said in that talk has honestly stuck with me since you said it. And that was like 2 or 3 years ago. And you said, never complain about something that you have control over. And honestly, like, it lives rent-free in my head, because it speaks to the accountability that we have to ourselves and how we perceive the world around us. So, and it also tells us that we are responsible for every single thing that happens in our lives. And you know what? When you're sitting there and you're looking at this kid who is in a wheelchair, who had to take a bus to get there for 7:30 in the morning, telling you that we are responsible for everything that happens in our lives, the excuses that we carry with us evaporate real fast, and things get put into perspective real quick when someone who's going through much more is telling you that he's responsible for his happiness and nothing else.
But the way I kind of always thought about it is like, I'm always going to have cerebral palsy, but there's ways to kind of make it better, right? So that's why I go to the gym every day, and that's why I try to do as many stretches as possible. That's why I went to university to kind of get the best education that I could. And my heart's not disabled, and my mind's not disabled. I can do anything I really want, and you just gotta. I try to utilize the tools around me to make me better, and like whether it's the gym or whether it's school, or surround myself with the best people possible. And I think that's what's kind of really helped me. But it's all about kind of like we talked about too, right? Like don't complain about something that you have the ability to change. I can't change that I have cerebral palsy, but I can change my strength, my mobility, my independence, flexibility, and my work ethic. You know, I like those are all factors that I have the ability to control over. And that's kind of, and when I kind of think about it, I just try to do the best that I can with what I have. And if I can do that, then I'll never be disappointed.
And you parlay all of that into a package that can be just blasted upon the universe to help anybody who is going through anything have a different look at it, have a different perspective, and just see, you give people an example, a beacon to follow to navigate the treacherous waters of life that we're trying to paddle through here. So moving on, let's go back into elementary school, because a lot of people see the things that you do now. But I want to kind of, why I'm asking a lot of questions about when you were younger is just to kind of give people a little bit of a sense of the foundation and a little bit of a backstory, and people to know. I think that our younger lives are the foundation upon which our adult lives are built. So when you were in elementary school, grade 5, what elementary school did you go to?
Notre Dame, du Rosard, and then Jean Paul II kind of amalgamated together, and then I went to Horizon High School. But to be honest, like you said, foundation, and it kind of stuck with me. But going to a school like that, it was kind of a foundation, and I was my best buddies. To this day are still my best buddies, and from elementary school, and that's really, really cool to me. And like I went to a high school where like there was so many great people, and a lot of people helped me out, and like even like the teachers like from that school and from teachers who taught me, like they still come to the store to this day. But I think that's what kind of made me who I am, right? Like all my best buddies, like I was saying, they're all my buddies since I was in like grade 2 all the way to from high school. And I think they kind of like sheltered me in a way. Like they never really treated me any different. And my parents say this all the time. They say like Ryan is like the only disabled person that we know that doesn't think he's actually disabled. And I think that's a huge reason of my buddies. And they always treated me the same, and they never felt sorry for me. And if anything, they gave me more of a hard time, you know? And I think that's what it's all about. And seeing like where everyone is now, like one of my favorite quotes is like, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And for me, my future seems like pretty freaking bright, because like all my buddies are doing amazing things in their own way, you know, and it's cool to see them now having like their own careers and like them being part of it, and whether they're in like the finance industry or like police officers or lawyers or firefighters and electricians, and like everyone's doing their own thing in their own way, and it's pretty amazing to see like where they all started to 5, 6, 7 years old until now. And now some of my best buddies, they have their own families. It's cool to be part of their lives as well, I guess. But I hate talking about this stuff because I get a little flustered a bit. But
well, man, it and that right there speaks to who you are. And speaks to the impact that you have on people and the way that you make people feel. I have friends that date back to elementary school, high school. All of the people that stood in my wedding were friends that I've had in elementary school and high school, and that's another similarity between you and I. And between anybody who just puts good vibes into the world and is a good person. Good people attract good people, and when we have a positive circle of influence around us, it's impossible not to find success. So it's so touching to see how much your friends mean to you, Ryan.
I gotta compose myself. It's all right.
Oh my God, that is just that's just such a raw emotion, man. I can't believe it. Dude, that was intense. I'm the same way. I wear my heart, honestly, right here. I cry sometimes when I'm like belting out a song in the car. If it strikes a chord with me or brings up a memory or reminds me of a time or place, I'm definitely not a stranger to letting the waterworks flow, dude.
Yeah, I'm the same kind of way. I don't know. I knew I was gonna be talking about this kind of stuff, and it still happens. I don't know why.
Oh, dude, it's. You know what? It takes a very special and honest and open person to be comfortable with their emotions, and this is a comfortable space, safe space, judgment-free zone, and it's awesome that we can just be each other in here. But back to. So that's where I was trying to lead into with the talking about elementary school. Was I wanted to get into seeing if there were any kids, and based on your story, it's quite evident that there were kids that were drawn to your personality, that it was easy for you to fit in, for you to make friends, and that those friends have been with you your whole life. Since you were 5, 6, 7 years old, and are still your best buddies today. But unfortunately, not all kids are compassionate and understanding and can look past the surface and into people's hearts. Did you ever experience any bullying growing up? Any kids that just like couldn't see the good in you, or maybe were a little bit ignorant to what you were doing, what you had going on, or any bullies that you had to deal with?
Not really. There was definitely people I didn't really like, but I think that's but I have 2 older brothers too, right. So that kind of helped a little bit. And nice. It's cool because they like to this day, they still always have my back, and whenever I need help or whatever, they're always the first 2 that are there. And but no, not really. There was definitely people that maybe make comments sometimes, but like I said, I had a really, really good group of buddies that never allowed me to kind of feel that way. So nice. I was very, very fortunate, and hearing like horror stories of other different people going through some crazy stuff that no one should ever go through. You know, it's sad. It's really sad, but I was very, very lucky that I had people in my life, like my brothers, my buddies, to shut that down real quick if something happened. So.
And to reinforce to you, right, if there ever was a case, because a lot of what bullies thrive on is, and I'm speaking from experience here, because I did unfortunately have a couple of run-ins and some experiences with bullying as a youngster. But what bullies thrive on is that feeling of discomfort that they are able to instill in their victims, right? And those feelings of inadequacy that they can instill. And like you, both you and I had support systems around us that just slashed that narrative right through the heart. So there was nothing really for our bullies to attack. They could take stabs, they could take runs at us, but our support structures around us were so strong that between our friends and our family, that they just can't get through that wall. They can't get into our hearts, because our hearts are protected or wrapped up by this like force field of love and compassion that's provided by the people around us, right?
Yeah, it feels like you kind of have an army around you, you know, like going from my parents to both my brothers and all my buddies. Like it was pretty cool, but it's definitely tough, because, like, to be honest, like, I don't really have a lot of disabled friends, right? So no one really knew what I was like, if I felt different, or no one really knew that kind of feeling. So I had no one really to relate to. But now it's cool being to the age where if I see people that are younger than me, and then it's cool to kind of be that role model for other kids too, right? But yeah, like when it comes to like bullying or uncomfortable situations, I was pretty lucky in that regards, where if it did happen, it wouldn't last very long.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And just before we move on from that, I want to give a shout out to, so not only my friends and family that were around me and protecting me, but I want to give a special shout out to my older cousin, Robbie, and his friends. He had some friends that people didn't want to mess with. So my grade 9 bully, who will remain unnamed, tried some stuff and had a very rude awakening, wake-up call from some people that he didn't want to mess with, which kept me protected and Tefloned up for the rest of high school, which allowed me to flourish into the person I am today. So thank you, Robbie, and Garrett, and the rest of you guys for always looking out for me and making sure nobody messed with me. So that was all. That was some pretty heavy stuff. Let's get a little lighter. I'm gonna do a speed round. We're gonna do Ryan in 30. So I'm gonna flash some questions at you. Just give me a quick couple word responses, just to kind of paint a little bit of a word picture here for the audience. So here we go. What's your favorite food?
Oof. I have a lot. What do I like the most? Fried chicken.
Fried chicken. Favorite genre of music?
Ooh, I like everything. My Spotify is mixed with so many different things.
Nice. What are you listening to right now?
Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh man,
like the punk rock version. Like I think it's still my downfall.
Right, I love it. I love his punk stuff, honestly, and I love his rap stuff. Like I was really into him as a rapper. Now I know we're splitting off from the speed round here, but as a Machine Gun Kelly fan, do you think now, and the timing seems to indicate as such, but you think that Machine Gun Kelly's beef with Eminem a couple summers ago is what pushed him out of rap and back into punk rock?
To be honest, I'm not, like, I don't really know much about that. But I just, because I found that album and then I kind of listened to his other stuff, but that's probably the one album that I listen to the most. I'm a huge Travis Barker fan, and I'm a huge Blink-182 fan. I love all that kind of stuff. So I knew he was really heavily involved in that production. So
nice. Yeah, and Youngblood's super cool too. He brings a cool energy. Brings a cool energy to songs. And since forever, one of my favorite kind of genres, if you'd call it, is rap and any other genre mixed together. Like, so rap and rock is a big, like, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, right? Rage Against the Machine. So rap over rock, rap over anything. And then Machine Gun Kelly kind of brings that like hip hoppy vibe and punk rock and kind of mashes it together into something that's really awesome, man. So that's cool. That's cool to hear that you're an MGK fan, because I was actually MGK for Halloween a couple years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I rolled up with black jeans, ripped on the knees. Obviously,
awesome.
You can't go as Machine Gun Kelly and wear a shirt. So I had Leslie drew all of his tattoos on me with the brick stomach and the EST here, and I was
That's awesome.
Fully decked out.
But it's funny because like every day can be something different. Like one day I can be like Jay-Z, you know, or like one day it can be like country, like Sam Hunt, and yeah, so every day is kind of different. But I like pretty much anything.
Nice, yeah. My talk about a mixed bag. I'm doing tonight after the kids go to bed. I'm going live on Instagram to sing to the world. There are 7 songs that have a nice little forever spot in my heart for various reasons, and
Did you make them, or did you?
No, I've only one that I've written myself.
Okay.
The other ones are songs that have just come into my life at specific points that remind me of specific times in my life that I really.
Oh, go ahead.
That I really. They are very special to me, and they all have these special little stories. So the reason why I bring this up is that there's a country song and a half. There's we got Tim McGraw, we have Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow, we have 90s alternative with Smash Mouth, we have Eminem and Jay-Z's Renegade, we have my rap song Dad Life that I wrote with my buddy Curtis Voisin. So we have it's a mixed bag, and I just that's all to say, just I have a very varied interest in music as well, so that's another similarity that we share.
It's so good. It's so relatable too, right? Whatever you're going through, and there's some songs that are like timeless. You know, you can listen to them thousands of times. And Mac Miller is kind of one like that.
I listen
to him all the time, and
for sure,
just like it's fun. It's just really cool.
Have you ever seen Mac's episode on NPR where he's like jamming in a library with this 5 or 6 piece band, and it's You've seen that? I found that I find that's such a powerful video, very very lo-fi, very it's just like very raw, it's just like it feels like it's just you and Mac, and he's just like laying himself right on the table. We took a detour on music, so let's get back on board
again, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this, and I think that speaks to just how easy this conversation is. So, favorite sport?
Hockey.
You alluded to that earlier. I knew that was coming. Favorite hockey team?
Pittsburgh, because I love Crosby.
Nice. Best advice that you've ever received?
Hey, you put me on the spot. There's so many things going in my head. I don't know, just be who you are, I guess, something simple.
Right on. Person that you've learned the most from?
I think my parents, my brothers, like everyone, all my buddies. I think it's a kind of a mixture of everyone.
What's a dream collab? Like, who's someone that you would love to collab with Positive Inception?
Nike.
Big dreams. And if a genie were to grant you one superpower, what would it be and why?
I think I'm pretty content right now.
That's a very, very good answer. I would love to fly. That would be
Yeah.
that would probably be my
Oh.
superpower, because just the absolute freedom with being able to like jump out of this window and just go like fly over that roof, and just like think about how sick you could make a dunk look if you had the ability to fly, right? Like it just
May- Yeah, maybe like teleport or something. You can go to a bunch of different places, and
teleporting would
then
be cool too. It's
you
like
wouldn't you wouldn't really be late for anything, you
ever.
know. And I don't know. It's a good question, but I like I'm pretty content for what I am right now, I guess, and I wouldn't really change much.
Nice. Okay, so we've learned about the foundation, you growing up. We've learned a little bit about you through the speed round. Now, tell me about how Positive Inception started. The first shirt you made, how it was received, how you came up with the name. Tell me the Positive Inception origin story.
Uh, I was working out one day, and someone showed me like one of my trainers showed me a clothing line, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then I kind of went home. It's like I always loved fashion, and I always loved business, and I took sports administration in school, so I'm like, huh, maybe I can do something. And I wanted to kind of create something positive, and yeah, I reached out to some people and got some advice here and there, and I was a second year university student, so it was just kind of a hobby at the time. So I was figuring out names and different things like that, and I kind of stumbled upon the inception, and it's like to start at the beginning of something. So whenever you want to start something or do something new, you always got to be positive and have positive thoughts and positive intentions. And whenever you want to help someone, it's kind of the same idea, right? You have to have their best interests in mind. And I kind of put so it kind of went together, positive inception, and then the logo. That's kind of what I had a hard time with, and I came across the seed, because the seed is the start of something new, and you need water and light for it to grow. And human beings are kind of like seeds, because you need a water and light for you need water and light for it to grow. And I said that, but human beings are kind of like seeds, because you need people around you to help you grow and become who you are. And you gotta live challenges and experiences to make you the well-rounded person you are today, I guess. And Logic has like this song that's called Inception, but there's like one verse, and there's like plant a seed and wait for it to grow or something like that. And then at the time I was kind of listening a lot to Logic, and it kind of all came together, kind of thing. But and then like the movie Inception is all about dreams and stuff like that. So I wanted to kind of create a brand to kind of follow your dreams. And I know it's not the movie's not really about that, but it had the premise of dreams in it, and so all that kind of meshed together. And then I started with 4 types of shirts and probably 50 of each, and I just kind of kept reinvesting into the selling those in school and the library and stuff like that, and kind of going to trade shows and events, and it just had a snowball effect. And then I introduced more and more product, hoodies, a woman's line, stuff like that. And yeah, the rest is history, I guess.
So when you started it, did you always have a vision of it being a platform to send a message or to make an impact? Because it does. That's what, to me, and I think to a lot of your fans and your audience and the people who shop at your store, a lot of it is, it's wearable. It's something that's wearable that we can look at and be inspired and motivated. Did you always have that intention, or did you just see a need? You had an interest in clothing and in brands and in streetwear, and you took a stab at it, or did you always know that this was going to be a way that you can kind of put your stamp and make an impact on the world and make it a better place?
Um, a little bit of both, I think. I kind of started off like I wanted something positive, and then like when you see the word positive, it's just like a simple reminder to kind of flip your day around, flip the switch, see that glass half full instead of half empty, kind of thing. And then when it kind of started getting traction and you're getting messages and like people like, well, I suffer from depression, and when I wear your clothes it makes me feel better, or like or I was having a really shitty day, and when I put your sweater on it made me feel better, or like just like hearing those kind of stories, and I was like, maybe I'm on to something, you know. And then and then like other stories, I don't know, like when I first opened up the store, there was someone that came in and she said like, my nephew has cerebral palsy, and he's 7 or 8 and he loves sports, and it was kind of like a similarity between him and I. And she's like, you're my hope that he's going to turn out okay. And I thought that was like the coolest thing, to kind of be a role model for people. And I just like I think I had an idea of the brand, but I think people's support in the community of Sudbury and people around the country, around the world, kind of made it what it really is. And it's a lot bigger. The cool thing about it is it's a lot bigger than me now, you know, and I think that's pretty neat.
That's awesome. So how do you come up with the designs, or come up with the lines or the drops? Like, do you just have ideas that come in your head and you just get them down on paper? Do you have a team or friends or anything that come up with these things? Do you ever just does anyone ever just hit you up and be like, yo, this would be a cool thing to put on a shirt, and you're like, damn, yeah, that does sound like a good thing to put on a shirt? Like, what does that creative process look like?
To be honest, like, you'll laugh at this, but I'm very selfish when it comes to that. Like, I don't let people like give me ideas or anything like that. They have to come from me. And the creative process, I don't know, just like sometimes when I think too hard, that's when it doesn't happen. So when I'm not thinking about it, or like I stumble across an idea and I let it like kind of like move around a little bit. But I don't know. I think when I try too hard, that's when it doesn't happen. And when I just let it flow, that's when the best things happen. And I think
comes from the heart.
Yeah, I think like the most popular one is like the dream big, work harder, or
I have that one.
Yeah, or the be positive, be you.
You know what my favorite line is, and my favorite shirt is the words of wisdom.
Yeah, that one's
the words of wisdom piece, dude. Honestly,
I might have to bring that one back.
You gotta bring it back, because mine's starting. it's like 6 years old and it's starting to fade, and like I need a fresh one. Because for the audience, for those who haven't seen this, it's the Positive Inception seed, the whole front of the shirt, but it's a mosaic of all different words and things it's all different words. So like gratitude, family, perseverance, all of these things that we should be holding tight to ourselves and making sure that we have in our lives. It's a mosaic that creates the Positive Inception seed. And it's honestly like a wearable reminder of what's important in life. And that
was the whole point, I think. And when I came up with that idea, I gave my design like 50 words of what the brand represented to me. And then like, I was like, place this all in the seed logo and then like make it look good. And that's what we kind of came up with. But yeah,
I think sick, dude.
Just like when you see those, like when you see little words, it's like a reminder, you know. And it's kind of what we're doing too, right? Like Gratitude City, just to be grateful for everything that we have, and those words to kind of allow us to be a little more motivated and give us a little more perseverance to kind of get through the day if we're having a bad one.
Exactly. And to that point, when Evie was first born and we were going through those initial stages of darkness, I wore that shirt almost every single day. Because when I looked in the mirror, I would just look at it and just know that there are things around me in life that, although we're going through a really tough time right now, all of the things that I read on that shirt were all things that would keep me balanced and keep me going strong, which is what not only I needed for myself, but in order to be the best husband for Leslie and the best dad and support for Evie as I could have been. So when you talk about people reaching out to you and telling you that your clothing has an impact on them, I'm a prime example right there, dude. I'm a prime example of that.
I think that's what keeps me going, and I think like I have so many great customers, and so I built so many great relationships that like those awesome relationships and those stories, they're so humbling, and it's an honor, right? And maybe when you're dealing with a difficult customer, and then like you think about the other times, like the hundreds of thousands of good customers instead
Right.
of like the couple of bad ones, and yeah, that's pretty cool for sure. If I would have known that you wore it every day, I would have printed you some more.
How tell me, yo, if you ever drop another one, save like three or put aside like 3 or 4 different colorways for me, because that's gotta be something that you keep bringing back, man. Like that's way too important. That's too important to everybody to be shelved. You got to bring that back.
Yeah, to be honest, like the 4 shirts that I got, I have them framed at home, and I haven't, like they're like the OGs, like haven't brought them back. But that's not one of them. But I'll definitely have to make a exclusive drop.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so from what I see of your public-facing life, you are very philanthropic and very community-minded dude. It's not hard to see that you care deeply about your community and the people that live in it. And you've been involved with a lot of special projects and fundraising campaigns. What are some of the most meaningful, impactful collabs, partnerships, or fundraisers that you've been a part of? Why are they special? Why were they special to you? And why did you get involved?
I think they're all special to some extent, and there's some that definitely go a lot better than others. But I think the reason why I get involved is like it's important to give back to the community, because when you think about it, the community gave so much to me. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the support of so many people, right? And people come into the store day in and day out, or order online through this pandemic, and the support has been like extraordinary, and it's been awesome. So that's kind of why I try to give back. But some of the special ones, off the top of my head, I did one with the Northern Cancer Foundation, and my buddy had cancer, and he's a big part of my life, and I think that was a really, really cool one. And then we did one with we've done a few with Easter Seals, and I was the Easter Seals ambassador when I was like 4th, 5th grade for Sudbury and for the province of Ontario in grade 6. So that holds a special place in my heart too. And we did one with the Alzheimer's. That one's special because I did it with my buddy Patty, and his mom has dementia, Alzheimer's, and that one's probably the most popular. We raised so much money for a great cause, and just like things like that too. And I think writing a check as a donation or something like that, it feels pretty good. So I just want to keep doing it and keep helping people. And I think when people kind of see that, they want to be involved too. And they might not buy the shirt, but if they know it's for charity, then and going for a good cause, and I think and then they kind of change their mind, and it's good. It's a win-win. It kind of helps a good cause, helps a good charity. So yeah.
And that's amazing that you use your platform, your elevated platform, and this kind of audience that you have built around your mission and what you put into this world, and you deploy that against causes that are near and dear to your heart, and you use that platform to not only raise money, but raise awareness to these causes. So not only are you impacting the people of Sudbury and greater and in this world with your message and your mission, but you're also leveraging that attention to be able to have an impact on other good, charities, causes, and groups of people that need money, that need awareness, that need support. So that's very admirable as well. The list keeps going on and on. Ryan's list of awesomeness is never ending, dude. Honestly, and you give such good vibes, and you're a beacon of light. You're a source of light in this world, and just having this chat's been so refreshing and invigorating.
Likewise, buddy. Thank you.
At what moment did you realize / when did you decide that cerebral palsy wasn't going to be your defining characteristic? Can you recall a specific period of time where you were just like, I am just going to completely disregard the challenges in front of me and just live my life?
That's a good question, because I don't think I've ever had that moment. It's just been like engraved. And like, I go to the gym every day, but like, well, not right now, but like,
yeah, because if you have a secret gym location that's open, I want in.
No, I wish I did. But like, I fall all the time, but it's not how many times you fall, it's how many times you get up. And that's kind of my whole thing, right? Like, no matter how bad you struggle, it can always be worse, right? And like, I love progress. I love improvement. I love, like, that's what kind of keeps me going. I love being productive, because like, productive, it makes me feel like a more fulfilled. Like, yeah, I accomplished this, or I accomplished that, or like, and it just like keeps going, and you can always do better, and you can always improve, and you can always have a new personal best. And that's why I like working out so much, is because of that, right? You get stronger and you see results and stuff like that. But there was never really a defining moment. Like I was saying, like, I'm very, very lucky to have my parents and my brothers, my grandma, and everyone like that to always push me and keep me going. And I think that was a huge thing. They never made me feel any different. Like, and like they always kind of, sometimes they gave me like tough love, like, so what? And like, that's kind of the mentality I have. And yeah, it's like I mentioned earlier, yeah, it might be a little harder than most people, but there's still a way I can get it done. It's going to be different, but so be it. And that's what you kind of have to deal with. And you got to roll with the punches and play with the cards that you're dealt with. And I'm just very, very grateful to be able to do that. Like, I was 3 months premature and 2.5 pounds when I was born. Like, maybe I wouldn't even be alive,
Right.
So I'm just very, very grateful to have the opportunity to be who I am, and to have the people that I have in my life. And I think having that defining moment, I don't really think it exists, and I could either sit at home and do nothing and feel sorry for myself and seeing the world pass me by, or get up and make a world for myself. And that's kind of what I chose to do.
Amazing. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna be right back. I have Leslie and Evie knocking on the hotel room door. 1 sec.
Yeah, no worries. Tell them I say hello.
Say hi, Ryan.
Hey guys.
Hi, Ryan.
Hey, how's it going, buddy? How are you? Oh, I like the quad. Oh, cool. How's the family doing? Good?
Yeah, we're doing awesome, man. We're doing awesome for sure.
Oh, good.
Thanks.
That's awesome to hear.
Okay, so I posted yesterday in my Instagram stories that we were going to be doing this today, and I asked anyone if they had any questions that they wanted to us to ask. Yeah. So and Christian Barrette dropped one that I thought would for us to wrap on it would bring a lot of value to the audience, and he asked, "How do you plan your goals, short term, long term? How do you decide what gets your focus and attention?
That's a good question. I don't really, I'm not a big planner, to be completely honest with you. I'm very last minute. I'm very unorganized. Like I think I just have a lot of goals all at once, and I go day by day and work towards everything a little all at once. I know it's kind of a scrambled answer, but I do have like big goals that I want to achieve, but I think that like that's all part of the process, and that's what like I love the process of getting to an end goal. Not having goals, but like enjoying the process to get to them. That's what I enjoy. I love like the struggle and putting out fires and stuff like that. Maybe not. I don't love it. I don't love dealing with that. It's all part of it, right?
You
But
love
like
the problem. You love the problem solving side of it.
a little bit, yeah.
You love operating. You like seeing a need or a problem and solving it or fulfilling it, and
I think so.
the actual operation of your business and making decisions. Like, this is what's fun for you to do.
And I love interacting with people, but yeah, I think as end goals, I just short term, long term. I think what I usually do, like if you want to think about like short term, I write everything down like every single day what I need to get done. I don't go to bed until that's done, so I do that. Those are like short term goals. Long term goals, like they're all like in the back of my head, like, oh yeah, I got to work on that, or like, but like I'm more of like a baby step person, and I think if you keep moving forward in a positive way, no matter what, just like no matter if you crawl, if you walk, if you run, like just keep moving forward,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
good things take time sometimes, and that's kind of the approach that I take.
It's important not to be bound by being single-tracked mind, right? It's important to be able to take little steps here and little steps there and chomp away at this and take a bite of that and keep moving, because my boss, Nicole, the VP of my department, shout out Nicole Beatty, one of the most amazing people I've ever worked for. She told me very early on in my time of the Y is just keep moving the rocks. Just move the rocks forward, because, and it has to do with priorities, right? My Polestar and Third Line, my employers before the Y, pushed that a lot too, is that you have to always be doing, you're always juggling. That's what Polestar and Third Line, that's the analogy they used, was juggling, is that you can't just have one ball in your hand. It just, life doesn't move that way, and you're always going to have 12, 13, 14 things that you have to prioritize and juggle.
It's tough though, right? Like it's tough to be able to, like, imagine if you had like 15 balls you have to juggle, and then like you can't drop them, and then sometimes.
But why can't we drop them? Why do we? Who says we can't drop them?
Yeah, I guess you're right, but like,
because if we drop them, we can pick them back up, or maybe we drop them because we weren't meant to be holding them.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes you drop the ball, And,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But as long as we learn why we dropped it.
I think if you do it more than, it's only a mistake if you do it more than once,
Right.
And then you utilize it as a learning experience, and then come back better and stronger than ever.
An L isn't a loss; it's a lesson, right?
There you go.
Yeah, what my approach to goals is, I'm very much like you. Organization skills can definitely get improved. I'm a runner and gunner. A lot of the times, very focused on the forward and not a lot on the backwards. But I have found that where I do set goals and successfully set goals is in the physical space, is in the physical realm, when I'm racing and I'm competing, whether that be in half marathons or 10Ks or Spartans, workout challenges. What I find success in with respect to goal setting is I set a goal of what I want, whether that be a specific time, whether I want that to be a specific finish, which is usually then predicated on a time that I think I'll have to achieve. What I do is I set these goals based on what I want in life, and then things get very simple after that, because once you have a high-level goal and you have that thing that you have in front of you that you're chasing, the decision-making model becomes super simple. It's a one-question screening process of, will this help or hurt me in my journey to X, right? And then your decision is easy. It's black and white, yes or no. I have to run, in order to get second place at Off the Grid, I need to run 25 kilometers in this amount of time. Okay, so will eating this cheeseburger help me do that? Or will skipping this run, will this put me closer to achieving my second place goal? Will, like, yes or no, right? So I find that when I have goals in place, making decisions in service of those goals makes achieving those goals a lot clearer. That keeps the waters less murky, and it keeps the pathway more lit and more well-defined. This year I didn't have those same goals, and I found myself sliding on the physical front, and I'm having to put a lot of more extra effort in right now as I pursue my goal of hitting a 36-39 10K by my birthday. And present Chris is not a big fan of past Chris's decision-making process, and I'm paying for it because I didn't have those goals in place.
No, but now you have the opportunity to do it, and then
exactly,
you got to put your head down and work.
Yeah, it's grind time, baby. Put those K's up on the board.
One of my favorite quotes is like, "You are where you are because of the decisions you make, good or bad." Right? And maybe like they weren't bad decisions, but like you can always improve them, right? And like it's not over. You can still make good decisions and improve and keep moving forward. And it might be a little harder, but why do you think like the NHL has best of 7 series in hockey? Like if you're down 3, if you're down 3 games, you could just win 4 games in a row. Yeah, it's going to be a lot harder. The climb's going to be a lot more difficult, but there's always still a chance.
Yeah, exactly. And it's important to just look forward and just say what's in the past is in the past, and only take what you need from it, because that's important. Take what you need from the past and just move forward. I want to give it back to my birthday goal. I want to shout out Jeffrey Paul for he saw my post where I said I wanted to get a sub 45 10K for my birthday. And he was like, nah, dude, that's not good enough. I want to see a 36-39 for your birthday. And I was like, all right, there it is. So shout out Jeffrey Paul, who's pushing me.
Your expectations,
Yeah, pushing me to my utmost limit, and appreciate you looking out for me. So last question, parting shot here. The name of the show is Gratitude City. And I think it's only fitting for us to finish with this question. What or who are you most grateful for?
Yeah, I sound like a broken record, but I think it's just like my family, my parents, grandma, my brothers, and all the boys, and just being able to do what I do every single day, and having the support of so many amazing people. I think it's so important to express gratitude, I'm in a very, very fortunate situation, and it's something that I don't have to do, I get to do, and for me that's truly special. But having the support of the team around me, and the people that I've known, the relationships that I've made throughout this awesome journey, I think that's what I'm truly grateful for.
That's awesome, dude. Honestly, that's such a good way to finish it. I mean, you said you don't want to sound like a broken record, but I look at it more of reinforcing things that are very important for us to keep near and dear to our hearts, and keep at the forefront of our minds. So that's all the questions I have. Before we get out of here, I want to give you an opportunity to tell the audience where they can find you on social. Shout out your website. Let them know where they can find you and what you're up to.
Yeah, nice little plug, I guess. But yeah, social media is just the Positive Inception across the board, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, that kind of stuff. And we're located on 1212 LaSalle. We're not open right now with the lockdown, but hopefully that changes soon. And I don't know, I'm very, very grateful for you to give me the opportunity to be on the show, be the first guest. And I think that's really cool what you're doing, expressing gratitude and highlighting people. And like you're just trying to make the world a better place. And seeing you on social media and different things like that with your positive energy and excitement and different things like that, it definitely helps people. And I think you're definitely on the right track.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, dude. I appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you taking the time out of your day, and appreciate you being here with me and dropping some motivation bombs on Sudbury and hopefully one day the world at large. So that's it. So thanks a lot. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.